Guys, how you doing? I had a request to do a foliar feed mix. It's really simple. I just use either my all natural kelp or the fish fertilizer. I don't use any synthetic foliar uh, mix for my houseplants. Now I do use a synthetic mix on my orchids, but for the most part, I strictly stick with either the fish or the kelp. But it's super simple. I just use um, a tablespoon or a capful, and I mix it up in my 1 gallon jug, which is right here. And so pretty much I use the same mixture in my spray bottle. So I don't dilute it. I believe I'm not sure what the directions say, but I usually, honestly, I just use like a cap full. Fill up my cap. You want to shake your kelp or your fish fertilizer up really well. I fill up the cap and I throw it into my 1 gallon watering jug. And then I use this to water, and then I put some into my spray bottle. And then all you do is just spray your foliage and you're done. I mean, it's super simple um, because your leaves on all of your plants have cells in them, so it's gonna suck all that nutrient up and produce a little bit better looking foliage. It's really gonna help through the winter months. Also, I have found, but I do a foliar spray at least once a week. So, like, if you're going around misting your plants anyhow, you know, give them a little bit of nutrient in that water because it's going to help them out a lot. Now, if you're using a synthetic fertilizer, I would say mix up um, whatever you're using to water and feed your plants with that synthetic fertilizer, and then maybe I would try diluting it like half and half in your bottle. Like pour about half of the solution that you already have made up to feed and water your plants, and then maybe mix that half. Put half water into your container and then put the rest of the feed into that bottle. And be careful. I mean, try a couple of leaves first with your solution and see how it does. Look at it for a couple days, maybe even a week, and keep an eye on it to make sure it's not still too strong and you're not burning any leaves, especially, a thinner leafed plant like a fern, or maybe some of your thinner leafed philodendrons, or whatever you have, your Hoyas. Are going to love that. Your philodendrons are all going to love it. Your ferns are going to love it. But just be careful with a synthetic fertilizer foliar spray. You want to dilute it enough to where you're not going to see any leaf burn. And like I said, I do that about once a week with all of my plants. Um, but I do strictly use the all natural fertilizers like the fish and the kelp on my house plants. So, just be a little bit careful if you want to mix it up yourself. I mean, the ones that you buy, I know that they make one for orchids, and a lot of people have been using that for their Hoyas and maybe other plants too. I'm not positive. And I bought it a few times. As a matter of fact, this is where that spray bottle comes from. And I love this spray bottle because it's got such a fine mist, you know, and you're not drowning your plant using a mister like that. And I like it because it's small, it fits in your hand really nicely. I love the trigger on it, so it does a really, really great job. But you also want to be careful. I know that there is a lot of people saying don't mist your plants, don't mist them. And I know why they're saying that is because usually if you're misting your plant, you might find that you're getting some kind of a bacteria or a fungus on the leaves or stems of your plant. And usually that is caused by not having the correct airflow. You want to make sure that you have air flowing on your plants and around your plants. Run a fan. Um, you've got to have some airflow when you have house plants. I mean, if you've got ceiling fans in your rooms where your plants are, that's great. That should be perfect. That should be perfect. And, you know, I have ceiling fans in every single room of my house except for my plant room and here in my living room where I keep all my plants. So I have to use fans in these rooms. I've got a couple of clip-on fans and I've got a couple of floor fans that I use, and they work perfectly fine. I've never had any issue with any kind of a fungus or a bacteria on the leaves or stems or the soil of my house plants because I've got good air circulation. I've seen people that are not running fans in their plant rooms and they're keeping their humidity super high and their heat is super high. I mean, you have got to have airflow or you're going to start having issues. And you may not see it for a while and then all of a sudden it'll crop up and boom, you got problems. A lot of the problem where people are finding uh, fungus and bacteria on the tops of their soil is probably because of that reason. You're not getting good airflow around all of your plants and around your soil. So it makes a fungus on top of your soil. And if you are finding that, usually it will look white. Just scrape it off with your hand or a spoon or whatever you want to use. I mean, I just use my hand. Because I have seen it on a couple of plants. But, you know, you've got to take that off. There's usually no reason to have to repot your whole plant as long as it's just on the surface of your soil. But you can take that off and then take a little bit of hydrogen peroxide and spray around the top of your soil where you're seeing that growth growing. And that should take care of it. But if you have good airflow, you probably won't find that problem unless you've got really, really old soil or there's some other issue going on with that plant. You could have rotting roots. I mean, it's really hard to say. But if it keeps happening, you probably have an issue, either airflow or you've got rotten roots or something going on with that soil. But yeah, I foliar feed. I have for many years. I got a lot more into it with my orchids because I found out that was really, really a great thing to do with orchids. And but it does help your plants, and it makes your leaves and everything just look better. I mean, I've seen a big difference. I've been foliar feeding for several years now, and I think all of my plants really benefit from a foliar feed. You know, so even if you're doing it once a week, or maybe even once a month or every other week. You know, you're doing it twice a month. That would be great, but you know, and I'm not saying you have to do it. If your plants are fine and they look great, don't worry about it. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You don't have to go around and do everything that everybody says, because it can get a little bit ridiculous at times. But this was a requested video um, by 916 Plant Mommy. She wanted to know how I made mine. It's really simple. Um, and like I said, if you don't have the all natural fertilizers like the fish or the kelp, just play around with it a little bit and mix it up to how you would to water your plants, and then mix like half of it in your spray container and put water in the rest, and just do a couple of leaves, you know, on a plant and see how they turn out. See what happens. Make sure you're not getting any kind of burn effect going on from that synthetic fertilizer. So, okay, guys, I think I said everything I wanted to, and then some, as always. But I think that is it. Just make sure if you're misting your plants, you have good airflow going on around them, because I think that's the biggest thing with the debate about misting or not misting. Good airflow is the key to that. So, alright guys, you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Peace. Guys, I also wanted to do my Planty Kindness Project shout out for a plant YouTube channel. And today I am going to be shouting out a lady that she has a lot of beautiful plants. She's a great friend of mine, and she has a really great channel, and it's growing. I'd like to see it grow more for her. So I want everybody to go over and check out Linda Sue Plants for You. You'll see a lot of beautiful plants and a lot of really great information. She's been growing for years and years and years. So go over, check her out, subscribe and like, and be kind. Leave some great comments for her. And alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.